There's a monk in Japan who has meditated at 3:30 every single morning for over 40 years. Not most mornings. Not when he feels like it. Every morning. Rain, illness, grief, it doesn't matter. And when researchers asked him why he never breaks it, his answer wasn't about religion at all. It was about something every single one of us struggles with. Monks aren't superhuman. They don't have more willpower than you. What they have is a set of rules they refuse to negotiate with. Not because the rules are sacred, but because breaking them even once makes breaking them twice easier. Today, we're going through 10 of those rules, and more importantly, what they teach the rest of us about discipline, focus, and peace. Rule 1. They rise before the sun every day without exception. Not to prove toughness, but because the first choice you make each morning sets a tone for every choice after it. If you can win the hardest moment of your day before it even starts, the rest of the day already owes you nothing. Rule 2. Never own more than you can carry in 2 hands. It sounds extreme, but think about how much mental energy goes into managing things you own. Organizing them, protecting them, replacing them. Monks aren't rejecting comfort. They're rejecting distraction. Rule 3. Not one grain of rice is ever wasted. Every meal is eaten in full, in silence, with complete attention. Because when you give your full attention to a meal, you naturally appreciate it more and you're less likely to waste it. Most of us do the opposite. We eat while scrolling, barely noticing what's on our plate. In fact, we're not really tasting our food, we're just refueling. Rule 4. At set hours, no one is allowed to speak. Not even a whisper. Because silence isn't the absence of noise, it's the presence of thought. Most people are afraid of quiet because it forces them to hear their own mind. Monks train themselves to sit in that discomfort until it stops being uncomfortable. Rule 5. A vow is a vow, no matter how small. If a monk promises to wake at a certain hour or to skip a meal, breaking that promise, even once, is treated as seriously as breaking a major rule. Because the moment you let yourself off the hook on something small, your word stops meaning anything, even to yourself. Rule 6. Never do 2 things at once. Sweeping the floor, cooking, washing. Each task gets full attention from start to finish. Not because multitasking is impossible, but because it's a lie. Your brain isn't doing 2 things at once. It's switching back and forth, and every switch costs you focus you never get back. Rule 7. No monk speaks badly about another monk, even in private, even if it's true. Not because criticism is forbidden, but because gossip corrodes the person speaking it, just as much as the person it's about. Protecting your own peace sometimes means refusing to say something, even when you're right. Rule 8. The same ritual, every single day, whether they feel inspired or not. Motivation was never part of the plan. The schedule was, and that's the real difference between people who follow through and people who don't. One waits to feel ready, the other just shows up. Rule 9. A monk doesn't explain, doesn't defend, doesn't justify. They simply say thank you. Not because they have no opinion, but because the instinct to defend yourself is usually about protecting your ego, not about getting better. Rule 10. The one that ties everything else together. No day ends without reflection. Before sleep, every monk asks the same question. Did I live today the way I meant to? Not perfectly, just honestly. Because a life examined daily rarely goes far off course. None of these rules are really about religion. They're about removing every excuse that keeps people from becoming who they want to be. You don't need a temple to apply any of this. You just need to stop negotiating with yourself, starting with the smallest rule you keep breaking.